Welcome to a new daily top Askreddit video. Today's topic. In what movie did you like the bad guy more than the good guy? Squidward's just trying to live his life in peace and he has two man-children constantly annoying him. Trying to think of the actual ages of SpongeBob and Patrick is unsettling to me. Aren't they like 16? SpongeBob is in boating school. Hercules, the Disney animated version. I really liked Hades' character. My sister loves Hades, the real one, not the one from the movie, and says that he chose to be the king of the underworld. Hades from the myths is one of the more likable gods for sure. In fact, the entire Greek mythology kind of fits this thread because Zeus is such a dick but was revered as the supreme deity. He definitely did not choose it, he just, literally, drew the short straw. Still an all-around decent guy. Only bad thing he ever did was trick Persephone, and that was just because he was lonely, and in at least one version she agreed to it. Compared to his brothers, the mass rapist, city destroyers and creators of all evil, he's practically a saint. Shame that the Christians criticize him with Satan means we only really get evil versions of him nowadays. Drive. Houseman in Dirty Dancing. The man works his ass off so he can take his family on a nice, long vacation. The doc is a very lenient parent, giving his teenage daughters all kinds of leeway and freedom to do whatever they want. When baby asks for $300, which is a large sum of money back in 1962, her dad gives her the money with barely any hesitation, because he trusts her. Baby gives that money to one of the dancers so she can get an abortion. It's botched, and who saves the day? Oh, right, Drive. Fucking Houseman, of course. He makes one comment about that being where his money went and then gets to work saving the woman's life. And baby's punishment for taking $300 from her father under false pretenses. She can't do her dance routine for other vacationers. That's it. She has to sit with her parents for a couple of hours. Literally the most lenient punishment imaginable under those circumstances. But of course Patrick Swayze comes in and is like nobody, puts baby in a corner. Fuck you, Patrick Swayze's character. Baby fucking deserves to be in that corner. Don't forget baby was only 16. Damn right he was allowed to be annoyed his daughter was being porked by a much older Swayze and wanted to protect her. While he may not have knocked up Penny, he definitely had a fair few notches on his bedpost. He slept with the women who were thrusting diamonds in his pocket, essentially a prostitute. He didn't want her to throw her life away for some leather-wearing dancing pervert. Some leather-wearing dancing pervert. This was a hilarious description of Swayze's character. Well, I rewatched that movie recently and basically it came off that Swayze's character was being victimized for himself, but they didn't have a way to talk about it back then. The heavy implications for his job being that he had to have sex with the rich wives with lessons as a pretties. Dr. Doofenshmirtz just needed someone to talk to, but all that Platypus wanted to do was beat his ass. Honestly, the poor guy needed to see a therapist because he has some serious childhood trauma he needs to unpack. Yeah. I can't believe his parents didn't make it to his own birth. That's so traumatic. Perry did his job to stop the Schmertz's evil schemes, but whenever Doof wasn't trying to take over, Perry was pretty much just a bro to him. Yeah, I remember in one episode Doof flat out says that Perry is the one person keeping him company. As much as I love Clarice Sterling in Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal Lecter is still the best character in the whole movie despite only have 16 minutes of screen time. Sir Anthony Hopkins was so legendary he only needed 16 minutes to put his character in the minds of every viewer. The fact that Jodie Foster kept up and did brilliant acting too makes it even better. Winning the Best Actor, Actress and Movie was fully deserved. 16 minutes. That's insane. I saw that movie a bunch of times and could have sworn he was in it a lot longer. Might be because every single scene of his is so memorable. It's written in a way that almost the entire movie orbits around him. So even when he isn't there, he's being built up and discussed by other characters pretty much non-stop. It's to Anthony Hopkins' credit that he makes the character live up to the hype when we do see him, though. The B-movie. Ken was the only sane person. Are there other bugs in your life? No. But there are other things bugging me in life. And you're one of them. Tom and Jerry. And not necessarily just the movie but the regular cartoons. Fuck that antagonizing little mouse, he has no redeeming features. Used to watch the show every week waiting for the one time Tom would finally get him. I was the oldest of way too many kids and I always sympathized with Tom. That's the theory, that the eldest child would side with Tom and the youngest with Jerry. I like bad guys who have legit reasons. CLU from Troll Legacy was instructed to make the perfect system, but he took it a little too seriously. He was just doing his job to make it a perfect world. HAL 9000 from 2001 Space Odyssey is another good one. He wasn't evil, he was just given conflicting programming. Technically, the conflicting programming is not explained in the movie, but in the sequel right. Only watched the movie once. Edit, oh wow, this single question blew up my notifications. In the book, which is a masterpiece, Hal is much more of a character. I guess mainly because the book can let the reader know his thoughts which the movie couldn't do, but he is equally a character as much as the astronauts, and it does a better job at the man vs technology and where they overlap angle. The ape men in the beginning are a lot more interesting and have names too. The Monarch in Venture Brothers. What kind of idiot doesn't even lock his doors? I'm not even going to flush. Let them see the wrath of the Monarch. What can I do to this guy that life hasn't already? I almost feel sorry for him. The Monarch is great, but you realize through the series that the real bad guy is Drive. Jonas Venture Sr. That guy was just straight up bad news. The fact that Rusty is as normal as he is frankly astonishing. The fact that Rusty is as normal as he is frankly astonishing. It's borderline impossible, really. Action Man would wake him up every morning by dry firing a gun held against his forehead. Not today, Rusty. Not today. I love the nuance of the show and the time and patience it's taken to truly show how terrible Jonas was. The first few seasons all you hear is Rusty complaining and telling an off-putting story here or there, but it all comes off as woe is me as he sits at the throne of his father's empire. But then you realize Rusty was truly, and horribly, abused his entire life, that Jonas is a worse villain than pretty much any of the actual villains, and got away with everything by being a handsome asshole. Heat. De Niro, Patio, don't let yourself get attached to anything you are not willing to walk out on in 30 seconds flat if you feel the heat around the corner. Agreed, though you could make an argument for Waygro being the actual antagonist for both. Fuck Waygro. Waygro is the agent of fate. That whole movie is full of characters who have externalized their locus of control. I do what I do best, I take scores, you do what you do best, take down guys like me. De Niro and Patio both see themselves as being incapable of anything than what they are. Waygro becomes the deciding factor for their fates. Kung Fu Panda 2. I like cold calculating villains who don't need to be ultra strong or puppet masters to prove that they are a real threat. She was really interesting because he was smart in his strategy, and especially when he tries to stop his fate, but everything he does only seals it. She was honestly one of, if not the most intimidating animated villains around. You know what he could do. You know what he would do to get what he wants. Everything about him is just top-notch. His design, his motives, his fighting style, everything. He's also one of the few who's insane but not in an exaggerated or overdone way. Think of him like President Snow in Hunger Games basically. She is what Tai Lung could have been if given enough time. We had such a great chance to have him back on the third movie, but instead May. Wile E. Coyote. Dude was starving in the desert and just wanted to eat. I don't know how he can order all these gadgets and yet not order any food. Guy wanted to earn a meal. Man deserves to hunt. Meryl Streep's character in The Devil Wears Prada. So much more interesting than Anne Hathaway's character. And in many ways she was right. This is business at the top, and Anne Hathaway's character was a Ave child wandering into a battle of giants. Anyone who doesn't want to be a part of that world should just get the hell out of it. She showed a lot of patience with her and brought her far with the company, considering that she was brand new to the game. The job sucks ass, for sure. You guys are both right, but Meryl Streep's character was still a nightmare of a boss. The boyfriend and the friends was the real villain, he just couldn't accept his GF new change for the better to have a solid career. As a chef, I laughed at him bitching at her not being around enough or missing his birthday. Like, do they even know what kinds of hours chefs work? Especially in New York. How many holidays they miss? Not realistic at all. And all he had to do was put up with it for 1 year, to give her career a major boost. He was a fucking whiny loser. Also the boyfriend was a chef/aspiring chef, can't recall, in a fine dining restaurant, one of the most cutthroat, underpaid, abusive jobs out there. You'd think someone clawing their way to the top by working 17 hours a day and never being available or home, if this were portrayed more realistically, would understand. Especially in the scene when they take her work phone away from her when she's getting a call from her boss. Especially because it was immediately after she gave them a bunch of expensive and thoughtful gifts that she was getting from work perks, and they seemed to enjoy benefiting of her working there.